Hey YouTube, this is a how-to video on how to install the BackOff XP brake light signal module from Signal Dynamics. This instruction booklet looks like this. It's pretty simple when you open it up. There's only sort of 5 steps to it, but it's not very detailed. So this manual is going to provide a little bit more detail on how to install this brake light module onto the Suzuki Boulevard M90. I couldn't find any how-to videos on how to install it on this particular bike. This is a 2013 model, so it took me quite a while to sort of do all the research and figure out what I needed, but I didn't think anybody should have to suffer as much as I did, because it's actually a pretty simple modification if you know what you're doing. So here are the tools I used. You need the BackOff brake light module, and you pay for that whatever you get for it online. You need crimps so you can put your wires together. Those cost me $3 at Radio Shack. You need a splicer to hook to tap into the ground wire. That was $2.50 for a set of splicers from Radio Shack. I got some Velcro for $2.50 at Walmart. You need pliers, scissors, box cutter, screwdriver, hex wrench, which came in the motorcycle toolkit, and then some sort of tool to strip, cut, and crimp the wires. I was able to find a service manual for my bike on forshare.com. It was the only free one I could find. And I don't think that manual was for the 2013 model. It might have been for the 2008 or 2009 model, but I think everything was the same. At least the wires were, because I cut the right wire and it works fine. The total cost was $8 for the things I had to buy, which were the crimps, splicers, and Velcro. Everything else I already had. And so $8 plus whatever the actual module, whatever you actually pay for the modulator. And total time, 2 days or 30 minutes. I say 2 days because it took me about 2 days worth of time to find the service manual, which I couldn't find online, to figure out how to remove my fender and disconnect the battery and everything of that nature. So that took a little while to figure all that out. But once I did, and I actually got my materials and everything, the total time is 30 minutes at the most, pretty much from disassembling your bike to getting to the wires to cutting, splicing them, and then reassembling your bike. So these are I'll get to that later. So the first step, I'm going to read right from the instructions. It says step 1, make sure your brake lights are working properly, and so you just make sure they're doing it, and then disconnect the battery. So to do that on this particular bike, you remove the side panel here. That's the side panel removed. This video is going to be in real time, so I'm not going to do any editing, so you just have to bear with it. And then you insert your key to remove the seat here, or to unlock the seat. Turn it, seat unlocks, and you pop the seat off. Seat removed. Set it off to the side. Once your seat's removed, you can see that's the front, that's the back. You can see the battery. The battery is right here. This is the seat, rear seat cowl. You might have a passenger seat here. You need to remove this as well so you can get to the wires, which are back a little bit further. So you use a hex screw to unscrew these 2 bolts. 1, 2. They're already unscrewed, so let me just take them out. And then you slide out the rear seat cowl and remove it. Set it off to the side. Okay, so now you have the fender here. The tail light is here. You want to remove the fender because the wires that you need are, you can see I already have mine installed, but the wires that you need to get to are back in here, and there's really no space to work back there. So you need to be able to remove the fender here. So in order to remove the fender, you remove these 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, with the hex screw. So you just take those out. You should be pretty much almost already disconnected. Just bear with me here. Okay, there's also 4 screws underneath here, basically underneath here, that connect the fender to the fender to the tail light. So you have to actually look underneath, find the screws, use a screwdriver, and screw them. They're in this location, 1, 2, and then 2 more on the other side, but underneath. And so you just unscrew those, and then you're able to remove the fender. Now, when you do so, you're going to run into some resistance because of this, at least on my bike, because of that little clamp. There's a little plastic clamp right there. And what that clamp is doing is holding the wiring that's going to the tail light. It's holding it up against the fender. So if you undo that clamp, which is basically just pulling on the latch mechanism here. See if I can find it. Hold on. So you just push. You can't see it because of my finger, but you basically just push down on that latch mechanism. That undoes the clamp and allows you to slip the cord out. Hold on, I'm going to put the phone down. I don't want to lose any of my screws. All right. So I undid that little clamp. I pulled the cord out, so the cord's not attached to the fender. The cord is running from the tail light up to the rest of the bike, and so so now I can freely remove the fender. Hold on. So now the fender can come out all the way. I set it off to the side. All right, so now the fender's removed. Oh, I forgot on the steps. I'm sorry. Step 1 was disconnect the battery. All right, well, I haven't really done any wiring, so I'm okay for right now. So to disconnect the battery, here's the battery here. Unscrew, take a screwdriver, unscrew the negative first, and then flip this cap back, unscrew the positive. All right. And then just kind of move the wires off to the side so they're not touching, and the battery's disengaged. When you put the battery back on, put the positive back on first, and then put the negative on. That's what the service manual says to do. Now, so you can see the wiring here. I've already got the brake light module installed, so this is what the wiring looks like. But if you will try to ignore these wirings, see this clip here. And this clip was already there. Ignore that one, ignore that light blue one. And then this clip, this black one, was already there. So there's 3 of them there. And you want to disconnect this larger one. It's got 3 wires coming from it, 1, 2, and 3 on the other side, like a triangle. And these wires are bundled up in this tubing here, and it's coming from the tail light here. And what it is, it's the ground wire, the brake light wire, and then also a wire that runs to the engine ignition, so that when you cut the engine to the on position, the tail light comes on. So there's 3 wires in there. That's those 3 wires. And the color coding took me a while to figure it out. I had to look at a service manual, and even then I wasn't sure. But there's 2 ways to determine it. You look at the service manual and see which one is ground, which one is going to the brake light, and which one's going to the engine block. Also, to determine the ground wire coloring is going to be consistent amongst all the 3 wire setups here, because in this area you have wires coming from the tail light. You have the right turn signal and left turn signal wires, and you also have the license plate wires. So the ground wire is the same color, and if you look here, the ground wire is actually the black wire with the white stripe. You see there's a white wire with a black stripe and also a gray wire. The ground is the black wire with the white stripe. And so that's that color is on this one coming from the taillight. This I think is coming from one of the turn signals, but you see again black wire with a white stripe. So that's the same color. This one down in here is coming from the other turn signal, and again there's a black wire with a white stripe. So if you're not sure which one ground is, it's going to be the same color from all three lights, both tail lights or both turn signals and the tail light, because the ground wire is taking that current back to the negative end of the battery through whatever wiring channels they have set up. Okay. So anyway, remove this piece here, and there's a latch mechanism right. Let's see if you can see it. Right here, there's a latch mechanism. So after you've already disconnected the battery and you're not going to get electrocuted or anything, remove this, disengage this latch, remove this triangle piece here that's connected to this tubing that contains the wires for the tail light. Once you do that, this whole piece here, remember, ignore this because I already have it installed, but this whole piece here will disconnect, and then you can actually remove the tail light. So it just lifts up because it's not really attached. You've already unscrewed it. And then also with the tail light removed, you can also take the wire bundle along with it,